All right. Well, we're rolling, so we can start. Let me look at the camera. Here, am I looking at the camera? Good. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Rob here, and I'm back with Kevin.
Hey, how y'all
Horsley.
doing?
And we're decided we were going to do a little fun podcast here, or video, or whatever.
We've been watching a lot of videos where people are ranking. They're picking artists and they're ranking from worst to best their body of work,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to add our entry into that.
Well,
idea.
my feeling is a lot of these people don't know what the hell they're talking about.
A lot of them don't.
So we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. So,
And by the way, I apologize for my disheveled look.
you're disheveled?
Yeah, I'm disheveled right now, man.
Are you?
Yeah,
Sure,
I'm all
look
fucked up.
at me.
I look like
I'm looking good for me.
You are.
I cleaned up for this.
You did.
So this is Rob cleaned up.
Put
So
on the dress blues
I can't fit in those.
and
The last time I wore those, man, my button fell off. Boing! I was sitting like, I'm the street jacket.
I'm the same way. My dress blues from high school, I can't fit in the
I was
bitches
too
either, man.
fat. But so we're gonna make this a series. Look at the camera. We're gonna make this a series, and the first band we're gonna do is a band that we both really love. I think you're a bigger fan of them than I am, though.
I'm a huge fan of them. I went through a whole Doors phase when I was in my late teens and early 20s. I let the cat out of the bag.
You slipped it right out there.
We're
I
gonna
like how you did that.
We're gonna do the Doors.
We're gonna do the Doors. Now, the caveat is we both agreed on this, is that if you don't know anything about the Doors, see, I knew about the Doors, but I didn't even know this until maybe several years ago, maybe 10 years ago. I found out about the Doors albums without Jim Morrison.
Yeah, they tried to carry it on, and they let Robbie Krieger have more of a presence in the writing and in the performing.
Yeah.
All of the Morrison-esque things are done by
gone.
Ray.
Oh, and
Ray does all the Morrison sounding shit.
well,
At least on that first album without Morrison.
we didn't listen to those. I've yet to hear them. I'm not going to listen to them out of principle.
I listened to it out of morbid curiosity.
So those albums are automatically on the bottom. We're not even going to touch them because. And then if you do know about the Doors and you think American Prayer is a Doors album,
That's
American
not a
Prayer
Doors
is
album.
not a Doors album, so it's not even considered.
That's poetry by Jim Morrison and music
by the Doors, which is separate, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yep.
So we're going to do the 6 studio albums that are left in chronological order. That would be The Doors, Strange Days, Waiting for the Sun, Soft Parade, Morrison Hotel, and L.A. Woman.
Yep.
And I've got a neat little gadget set up to where the album covers are going to appear as we go. And I don't know his list, he don't know my list.
Yeah.
So we're going to go alternate back and forth, and we should get started, I think, huh?
Yeah.
So
let's do
and
it.
you're first. So this is your number 6, your worst Doors album
My worst Doors album.
that
All right.
that we ranked.
Okay.
There it is.
The Soft Parade. That
Big surprise.
I think that's everybody's worst Doors album, just because it's so. It's such an offshoot into another direction, but I do have a respect for it. I feel like I know what they were trying to do. That's what happened. That album really puts into perspective that Morrison really was the leader of that band and the leader over the direction, because he wasn't really into it. They had a hard time getting him into wanting to do anything with that album.
Okay.
So
I'm
that
aware of
so
that.
that led the man Zarek, Dinsmore, and Krieger to say, hey, well, let's try to do this.
Let's do something new, right?
And Paul Rothschild, who I disagree with
we
a
have
lot,
opinions.
said, hey, why don't we put some horns on the thing? And I feel like if Morrison was heavily involved in it, he would have said, man, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
He was busy with his own thing, I think.
That's the reason. That's the reason that that the Soft Parade track is the way it is, because it's kind of like Celebration of the Lizard.
Yeah.
And it's
It tried.
It tried. I like it, but they let him do that just so they can get him into something on it. But like I said, I do have a respect for it. Actually, one of my favorite It's my least favorite Doors album, but one of my favorite Doors songs is on it. That song "Wild Child."
I love that song.
That's a cool tune, man.
I love that song.
"Wishful Sinful" is probably the worst Doors song ever written.
There's strings and
next to
everything on it.
"Tell All the People."
Ugh.
"Touch Me's" not bad. It's just that album. It doesn't sound like them, and it
really doesn't.
It's. But like I said,
But it is a cohesive album, though.
It is. It's very cohesive. It's very well put together and produced. It just doesn't sound like the Doors.
It's not the Doors.
But I do have a respect for it. I have a respect for that.
Well, there was definitely some things going on there, and if you're done, I will go into mine.
Go ahead.
Which, surprising enough, is "Soft Parade." I like "Touch Me."
That's a good song.
I do like that song, even with the.
I like the horn. I like the horns in it.
That's a great sax solo. I like that,
is.
but it's not the Doors. I absolutely.
It's a Robbie Krieger song.
I absolutely cannot stand "Tell All the People," "Wishful Sinful."
That's a Robbie Krieger song.
I cannot stand it. I love "Wild Child." If it were not for "Wild Child" and "Touch Me," I don't think there's anything else that's. Well, hold on. There's bits of the "Soft Parade."
I like the "Soft Parade"
There's
as a
bits.
piece. It's good.
When it goes into the boom, 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 boom. Everything up to that point, I can live with that.
I like it.
La 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 la.
I like.
Oh, that disco shit. That
Peppermint.
I don't like it.
I
don't like
it,
it.
man. It's cool.
It sounds like Vegas. It sounds like Vegas Elvis.
It's like if the Doors ended up on one of those
Yes,
Vegas.
yes. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so enough said. "Soft Parade."
All right.
All right, number 5. Now this is where it gets interesting.
Going back to me.
We're going back to you.
Okay.
And this is your next worst.
All right.
And here we go. "Waiting for the Sun."
That they came off of the first 2 Doors albums, the Doors debut and then Strange Days. All that material was written over the same. That was all written when they were forming the band.
Right.
All that material.
Absolutely.
So when they released Strange Days, they were already a big band, and they didn't have the time. They were touring so much, they didn't have the time to write anything. So they wrote "Waiting for the Sun" kind of on their feet, you know.
Yeah.
And it's strikingly different from the first 2 albums, but it's still a good record. It lacks focus in some areas, but there's some really good tunes on it.
There are. There's about 5.
"Hello, I Love You," 5 to 1. "Spanish Caravan's" a
Yep.
good song.
Yep.
"Unknown Soldier's" a
Yes.
cool song. There's a lot of cool songs on it.
Some good songs.
It's a much more. It sounds a lot more lighthearted than the first 2 albums did. It kind of lacks the mysticism a little bit, but it's still good. It's got an excerpt from "Celebration of the Lizard" on it. It's got the
One of my favorite songs.
the "Not to Touch the Earth" section.
Love that song.
Which I said a moment ago that I disagree with Paul Rothchild over his influence over what they should do or what they didn't do materialistically, because they were going to take the whole "Celebration of the Lizard" piece, and if you actually heard that, I think the first time that ever was released was on a compilation that come out in 2003. That's the first time I heard it. But
Legacy, I think.
yeah, the Legacy.
That's the studio version, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I fucking loved it when I first heard
Yeah,
it. Boy.
it's great.
And the idea was originally that they were going to put the first, they were going to put 7 songs, because I think it's an 8-song album. They were going to put all the songs on one side, and they were going to put "Celebration" on the other side. Kind of the same way Genesis Foxtrot is, where
Right.
"Supper's Ready's" on
Supper's
one
Ready.
side and all the other songs on the first
Or
side.
Tarkus. Or
Yeah.
2112. Or...
Yeah, but Paul Rothchild didn't want to do that because he didn't feel like the piece was cohesive enough to release.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. Yeah. So they took "Not to Touch the Earth" out of it. They made that a song in and of itself. And
That is the strongest part, I think, of that
it is
epic.
It is.
Yeah, if you don't understand what we're talking about with "Celebration of the Lizard," that's his famous epic poem.
Yeah.
That for a long time you only heard it if you were there when they
You
played
had to hear it live.
And so people wondered what it was like, and they finally
Musically,
released
it's
it.
not. the instrumentation in it is not normal music. It's the instrumentation is used much more for dramatic effect.
Right,
and
it's
a
like
lot of
atmosphere.
Bits of it.
It's atmosphere.
Very chaotic sounding.
Well, it's
I'm
a
not
chaotic.
even-
It's a chaotic.
I'm
poem.
not even sure if a lot of that stuff even theoretically fit together musically. You know,
It does.
like the beginning of it, that bing, wow, 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 all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't. I think that was just a lot of bullshitting around on Ray Manzarek's
lot
part.
of drugs.
Yeah. But so that's I like that album, but it's not. It's one of their lesser. Doesn't make as big of an impact on me as other selections
the other
of
ones.
theirs.
From now on, for me, the rest of these albums, besides the one I'm about to talk about, can be almost interchangeable.
Okay.
Almost.
Okay.
All these albums I really enjoy.
That's debatable, but
I really enjoy them.
okay.
I really enjoy them. I mean, some are not going to be number one at all, but they could. Number 5 and number 4 may switch, maybe, possibly, depending. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yep.
So mine. Where did my? Oh, there we go. Ooh-wee. What's Rob gonna pick? What's it gonna be? Surprise, surprise! Waiting for the sun. I think we're gonna have the same list, dude.
We might. I don't know.
I didn't think we were going to, but I think it's down to the top 2. I think it's down to the top 2. This one, everything that Kevin said. I actually came up with a alternate track list of what the album should be. And
Like a different pacing.
I came up with what Waiting for the Sun should have been, and I'm going to find it right here. Hopefully it don't go on the wrong screen. I was supposed to take care of that, and I bet you it's going to go right on top.
Please don't bollocks the whole video.
And it's going to... No, I didn't. Good. Okay, Waiting for the Sun. Album should be Side 1, Hello, I Love You, Love Street, Unknown Soldier, Spanish Caravan, My Wild Love. I love that.
That's a good yeah.
Love that. We Could Be So Good Together, and 5 to 1. That's side 1.
Side 1.
Side 2 is Celebration of the Lizard.
You left out Wintertime Love.
I did.
You don't like that tune, do you?
They don't belong. Though there's 2 tunes, Wintertime Love, and
I feel like they
winter something else. Shades of Winter.
Winter Should Know or some shit.
Some bullshit. No.
No. They were trying to write a pop song.
Now look, because I did the time even. That for side 1 that I've got there is 21 minutes. And Celebration of the Lizard's about 20 to 25 minutes.
About 40-something minutes. That's an album.
That's an album.
Yep.
So that's what it should have been. And I said the exact same thing that you said, which is the album doesn't seem to have an identity. And it doesn't. It's just a collection of songs.
It's a collection of tunes.
But there's some good songs on there.
There it is, yeah.
But it'll never be number 1.
No, and even the surviving members of the Doors will probably tell you that.
Yeah. Okay, so I wonder what your number 4 is going to be.
Let me add one thing to Waiting for the Sun before you move on.
Go.
Probably the most important thing was the album, the era of that album.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the Lizard King was born.
Yes.
And that is the big, Jim Morrison alter ego. It came from that material. So
your number 4 is next.
my number 4, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I wonder what it's going to be. Morrison Hotel.
Morrison Hotel is a fucking cool record from the beginning of it until that motherfucker goes off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's one bad song on that record. Love that album. It came,
There isn't.
no, even the blues track, Maggie McGill, is still kind of a cool song.
It is.
But so
favorite
they
track.
come off the back end of Soft Parade with that. They caught a lot of fan flack. A lot of the hardcore fans didn't like Soft Parade. They did that as a kind of a return to form, but not exactly return to form, because that's much more of a traditional hard rock album.
It's
in a lot of areas.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the classic Doors tunes on it. Peace Frog, Roadhouse Blues.
Yes. Keep going.
Probably one of the best, probably two of the best love songs I ever heard Jim Morrison write, which was Blue Sunday and Spy in the House of Love.
Love that
two songs are cool.
I love Spy in the House of Love.
Land Ho is a cool song.
Land Ho!
That's got one of the coolest bass lines. Yeah. But that will, they were kind of re-energized, I felt like, for a period with that record. But that's my number 4.
My number 4, Morrison Hotel. I love this record. I mean,
it's just such a satisfying listen.
It's really solid.
Yeah, it's very solid.
It's the first solid, and it's not the last. The rest of the albums are all solid from here on out. Now this one and the next one maybe, and then the next one, and then the next one maybe. Okay. But it's we're talking really good stuff here.
Yeah.
And this album, a lot of people didn't know, but it's actually called Morrison Hotel and the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, it's two
sides. Because they went to another building with the Hard Rock Cafe, and they took a picture there.
And I love they actually didn't have permission to do that album.
They did not. I know.
They asked them to do it, but then the owner of the place wouldn't let them do it. So they just went in and had a meal, and then their manager, whoever the hell was with them, went outside and took the picture, and that's the album cover.
Yeah, they said to stand up.
Yep.
They can't stop you because I'm in the building, but I'm not taking the picture in the building.
That's also the beginning of. I make jokes about it all the time. That's the embryo stage of Fat Drunk Jim Morrison. I thought that was started.
It started on this? I thought it was like in its heyday almost.
No, heyday was the LA Woman shit, the beard and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did that right after this.
Yeah.
Well, this is when he got into trouble.
Yeah, when he got 6 months hard labor.
Yeah,
for
gonna work on
himself
the chain gang
and enticing a riot.
Yeah, he would not have lasted 6 months.
No,
He pretty boy like that down in Miami, conservative Miami in those days.
Yeah, they were conservative.
Oh my God, were they? It's scary.
Yeah.
Okay, you're number 3. I wonder what it is.
My number 3. I don't forgot one. LA Woman. Yeah. I love that album. It has the same kind of
Sorry.
It seems to have re-sparked the magic of the first 2 records. When that came out, they compared it to Strange Days in the first album.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty solid. It was a damn good record for them to end on.
They produced that one themselves.
Yeah, because Rothschild didn't like it. He said it sounded like cocktail lounge music.
Well, he's a dumb. What do you think?
He advocated Soft Parade.
Soft Parade's more cocktail lounge.
That's more of a real Doors album than fucking Soft Parade is. And he advocated that, and he dismissed LA Woman. He said Lover Madly sounded like a cocktail lounge tune, and I love that song.
It kind of does, but so.
But it works though.
It still sounds like the Doors.
The Changeling don't sound like cocktail lounge music, and I love that fucking song. And fucking that's got Wasp, Texas Radio on the Big Beat. That's a cool tune. That's
so good. I tell you this, no immortal. What's the line?
No eternal reward will forgive us now for
wasting the dawn. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. That's got all the poetry on it, like the first album. That's why they compared it with them first 2 albums, because it's got all the poetry on it.
Yeah,
that Morrison would do.
It's the Doors again.
Yeah, and he did a little bit of that on Morrison Hotel.
A little bit,
but not as much like with LA Woman, man. Riders on the Storm, fucking probably one of the best. Probably one of the best. That's probably my favorite Densmore tune. I love his drums on that.
I actually like Densmore's drums on LA Woman. He does this thing on LA Woman.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
I can't do it. It's hard.
Let's see. I like. I think the big sellout song on that one is probably "Crawling King Snake," though. Even
Yeah.
though I like it, I love it.
That's the one.
Because I love. I like Morrison's performance on it. It's really
Well,
good.
yeah, he's strong on this one.
Yeah. What's the one we like?
I've been down so goddamn long. That is the hardest blues I've ever heard. Densmore was pissed at Morrison.
He was, because they weren't getting along.
And you hear this anger.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, let me tell you my number 3.
All right. God damn it.
I wanted it to be more interesting, but
We've had this conversation before, though, so I think it maybe had.
Well, I don't think so, because I had them in a different order when we had it before. But I finalized this last night.
Okay.
It's different.
All right. Okay.
Because if you remember, before I did my homework, I had LA Woman a lot lower.
Yeah.
When we were talking about it months ago. I mean, we would have hypothetical conversations, and I mentioned I didn't like LA Woman as much as he did.
It's probably not the best produced album that they did.
I think that's what it is.
But the production on it works for the material, though. To me.
Well, they never produced a record before, so.
No, I think Bruce Botnick.
That name sounds familiar. I think you're right.
That was their manager.
I think you're right.
I think it was either him or Bill Siddons.
But
Botnick, he kind of spearheaded the production on that. They moved everything into their rehearsal house. So
yeah, you got Runners on the Storm. That's epic.
Texas Radio and the Big
Texas
Beat.
Radio and Big Beat. That's epic. There's another big one.
The LA Woman song.
LA Woman.
Is
LA
really
Woman.
Cool.
Mr. Mojo
Rising.
See, that was the.
Mojo.
That was the new alter ego.
Yeah.
Mr. Mojo Rising.
And you know how he done that? He mixed the letters and the names up.
Yeah.
I love Jim Morrison. Man.
He's great.
Cars Hiss by My Window is probably not one of your favorite tunes.
I can live without that.
I like it. I like it.
I can live without it. But yeah, I mean it's a lot better than I thought it was when I started comparing. I thought I was gonna like Waiting for the Sun more, but it's
that's what you could tell the material off of LA Woman was written from a more deeper personal place.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, okay, here we go. Top 2. This is where it could be different.
Oh boy, we're down.
The Doors. Is that your number 1?
That's my number 2.
Yeah, that's your number 2.
That's my number 2.
The Doors.
Very
kind of a controversial pick. Kind of.
But you know what? It was a very hard thing to decide.
I was still debating
because I will say all day that this is the album that you need to listen to in order to get into the Doors.
It's the great primer.
This has. There's not a bad song on it, and I thought that just having the end on it would be my deciding factor for number 1, but ultimately it wasn't.
No.
But oh shit.
What happened? Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
So this record here had a lot of the I mean, I like it for the same reason pretty much anybody else likes it. I mean, it's got Light My Fire on it.
Absolutely brilliant.
Break On Through.
That was my favorite song for the longest time.
Which one?
Break On Through.
Break On Through. I like Backdoor Man. I like Backdoor Man, and I like End of the Night.
That's creepy.
That is creepy, and I fucking dig it.
I'll tell you when we get.
There's one section on In the End of the Night where it almost sounds like the tape is stretching.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because I had that album.
The guitar solo.
Yeah. I had it on cassette, and I used to listen to it, and I thought that part of the tape was bad.
Yeah.
And then I bought a copy on the CD when I bought that Legacy, and it's just the same shit. So
Bobby Krieger, man.
Yeah. The End is absolutely. That's one of the coolest tunes.
That's very daring.
God damn, man.
This is what 67, right?
67, yeah.
Nobody was even. I mean, this is when Sgt. Pepper's was daring.
And they got together in '65, so they probably wrote that then, you know.
Yeah. I heard stories about them doing The End at Whiskey a Go Go with the Go Go girls trying to dance to it, and they ended up just stopped and watching them.
That movie, that scene in the movie, I'm not sure that.
I've heard that before. I saw it in the movie.
Yeah. Well, the way that scene went down, I'm not sure that that's actually how it happened. But you know how.
Well, it was probably composite of several gigs.
It was.
We're ready.
Hold on. Let me think here.
Go ahead.
Soul Kitchen.
Oh, absolutely.
Really cool song.
Doom, doom, doom.
No, that's a.
Yeah, but
oh yeah, do. You know what that?
Yeah.
You know what else that is?
Yeah.
That's when the music's
I
over.
know.
Just slowed down.
Very similar.
Yeah.
But it's I listened to the bass when I first listened to these records.
Oh man.
And there really was no bass player, but for some reason the bass always stuck out. But like on Soul Kitchen when it goes do 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 do.
Yeah.
Speaking secret alphabets. Do 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 do. A little bit. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yep.
It was probably Carol Kay on that record. From the Wrecking Crew.
Wasn't I want to say one of Elvis's musicians
Could have been.
played on that record. That is strange to me. I know it wasn't Scotty Moore. I think it was the bass player.
It could have been.
I don't know though. I don't want to say one way or the other because I don't know. But I've heard through sources that one of Elvis's musicians contributed in the production of that album.
Here we go.
All right.
This is whether we have great minds or we're gonna have a difference.
Oh God, here we go.
No.
Goddamn boy,
It was so close. It was so close.
Changed it up.
You thought I was gonna do number one?
I thought we were gonna have the same number one, which is pretty
We do.
apparent now what mine is.
We do. This is my number two.
Oh fuck.
We got the same exact list.
I'm not looking at it the right way then.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Yeah. This is my number two, and I'll tell you why. It's not because of anything on this album. It's because of what's on the number one album.
Mm-hmm.
That was the deciding factor for me.
Yeah.
Because I for the longest time, that was my number one.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying at some point in my life it won't be my number one again. I just can't.
I listened to all these albums recently.
Yeah.
To do the homework, and something about. I mean, this is a great album. Oh, the one thing I want to talk about with this album is that I really want to do that when we go on this, if we go on this cruise coming up. I want to do
the Whiskey Bar.
I want to do the Whiskey Bar song.
I forgot to even bring that up. Was that song right there really shows the brilliance of the Doors and how they put songs
Morrison
together and Jim. Well, that's not the Doors.
I know
that song.
It's an opera.
It's a German opera by Bertolt Brecht and Kurt Weill.
That's right, those two guys.
And Ray had it in his vinyl collection, and I did not know that for years until I watched that classic album.
That's when I learned it too.
And I just always figured that was a Doors tune.
It sounds like it.
And they said that they would pretty much steal from anybody.
Well,
Ray Charles was a huge influence on Manzarek.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, to listen to a Doors record, you'd have to know a lot about Ray Charles to pick up on any licks he might have took, but it don't sound like no Ray Charles I've heard.
That ain't no Hank Williams song. But anyway, we're gonna sing that song, and I love that song. Show me the way to the next little girl. Damn. Now the original version was like, show me the way to the next whiskey bar.
Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Yeah, from the opera.
Real German.
Very weird. Germans are weird.
This is my favorite German joke. How many engineers does it take to put in a light bulb?
How many?
3. Thank you.
It wasn't a joke, and that's the joke.
That's the joke.
3.
Okay, so we know what number one is for Kevin and myself now. There's no secret. Making sure I do it right. There it is.
Strange Days.
Strange Days. I almost said people are
same reason that he said determined his number 2 from his number 1 was the material that's on this record.
Oh.
Now that might be where someone would decide the first album over this album, but I went a different way with it.
I did too.
The material on this album, the songs on this album are actually a lot more risky for them. The first album, they went the safe route. They picked all the safe songs.
Even the Take On to the Other Side. That song's
that's
safe compared to what's on
you know. Light My Fire was
that was safe.
That was so well rehearsed. That was their favorite song, and
yeah. They cut it short.
This album here actually was the first album that Elektra Records made after making all the money that the Doors made them off the first record, because this is when they updated the studio. The first record was made
like in
on
6 days,
in 6 days, and it was made on a 8-track disc.
Yeah.
They updated to a 24-track disc
you can tell.
for this album, and that's why you hear all the extra shit. You hear all the echoes. You hear all the couple of backwards things you hear.
Yeah.
A lot more overdubs.
Yeah.
But the material on this is actually a lot more. It's a lot more prolific than the material on the first album was, and I think it's a better album. When the Music's Over is probably one of the coolest Doors tunes. Horse Latitudes.
There you go.
That thing right there. Nobody had ever done anything like that before.
Not at all.
The opening song, "Strange Days," is the guitar riff. My favorite guitar riff by Robbie Krieger is actually the guitar riff off of "Your Lost Little Girl." That boom, down, 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 boom, down. Such a pretty song, man. People Are Strange.
I might as well go ahead and do this, because here we go.
Yeah, you might as well. That's his number one.
It's my number one,
but
too.
I think he might go on a little more at length about why he likes it. But
I think you covered everything that I had to say.
That's pretty much the reason that I like. Strange Days is a better album.
The biggest determination was not what was on the first album. It's what's on this album.
Yeah.
That made it number one for me. Horse Latitudes.
Oh,
right
fuck
there.
Yeah.
The fact that they even did that, because that's something they could have done live and left it live and not done it on. But and the story, my brother had to explain to me what it was about. And when you know what it's about, and then you hear the sound effects, and you know.
Greg.
What's the first line after "True Sailing is Dead"? It says "Onward and Upward."
Awkward Instance.
Awkward Instance. The first animal is jettisoned.
Legs furiously pumping.
That's it.
Their stiff green gallop.
You hear it.
Legs pop up or heads pop up.
And the way Morrison delivers it, it's frightening.
It's very frightening. That's actually what turned me on to those first two albums. The Doors in general really, like I said, I went through a whole thing with them when I was a teenager, because I was really
same here,
really big into poetry when I was in high school. But it was a secondary aspect to things that I was involved with in school. I wrote very derivative poems in high school. I mean, it's literally, I wrote "Roses are red, violets are blue" style shit. Stuff that was derivative of country songs. And then I heard that shit by the Doors, and I heard how cool poetry could fucking be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't like his poetry.
I can see why.
I love his poetry.
I can see why. I like it.
It's because his poetry is not about one thing. It's very allegorical.
It's an atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's like the band itself.
Yes.
And also another thing about that my monitor keeps turning off.
That shit opened me up so much when I wrote poetry.
Did you notice that that's the only album cover that they're not on it?
They are. They're just not the focus.
Well,
they're on a flyer.
They're on a flyer, but no, it's this thing. It's a chord. You gotta finagle it. But yeah, there's a flyer like somewhere right around.
It's on the wall. It's right behind the arm on the.
See if I can do it. It's right over here, I think.
Yep.
There we go. And this was fun to do though. and we're actually going to do another one, but it's going to be a while before we do it because it's going to be a daunting task.
It's going to be a 2-part.
And
it's
I
gonna
think
have to be.
and I think I've bitten off more than I could chew with this.
But we got to go through it.
This is one of my favorite bands, but there's an era of this band that I do not accept.
And this is one of my favorite bands, and I appreciate both eras.
I do not accept. But maybe I'll learn something. Maybe I'll learn something. So the next
Are we
one.
going to keep a secret who we're going to do?
No, we're gonna go ahead and tell them because we're gonna go ahead
We're
and
going
pick.
to tell them who we're going to do.
Yeah, because it's gonna be a while.
It's going to, at least a couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, because this band's got a lot of music and a lot of different eras.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do Genesis, which is one of my favorite bands.
Rob loves the prog Genesis,
Of course.
naturally.
I think
Which one should. Rob has known to be very biased against the pop era, the 80s. I ain't going to call it the pop. I'm going to just call it the 80s era Genesis.
I'm biased against when Peter Gabriel left and Phil Collins took over and was good. The Phil Collins stuff at first was good, and I blame him mostly, which may not be that may not be a thing. That may not be what I think it is. So, but anyway,
Most people don't know that Genesis is not Phil Collins' band. It's actually Tony and Mike's band, and they were the deciding factors in all this. But anyway, I argue for the musicality of the pop era, and Rob really doesn't.
I don't like it. What I've heard of it, I don't like it. So I'm actually going to listen to these albums as albums, and maybe I'll appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around this long if you have. If not, then you don't hear this anyway, so it's okay.
Look forward to the Genesis thing in
Yeah.
3 weeks.
It may be a month.
Or that.
Because there's a lot of material, and I want to judge it fairly.
Best progressive rock band ever.
Oh.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, no. Oh.
That could be a video of itself.
Which is the best progressive rock band ever?
Yeah.
Oh,
Starting
not Genesis.
Starting from the basis that Genesis is the best. That's my shirt here.
Oh my God.
My shirt.
Well, my shirt says otherwise.
Yeah, I probably tend to agree with that. I actually tend to agree with that. King Crimson is.
Anyway, thank you guys. We may have to edit this down a bit, but
Thank you.
see you later. Well,
I'm still looking at the fucking
I know
TV
we look up
here.
there.
I'm
There's
looking
the camera.
at the fucking phones in front of me.
It's hard. It's hard to do that.
It is.
But thanks a lot for doing this.
Hey,
with me.
man. Yeah.
If you like what we do, tell us and we'll do more.
Yeah.
And if we don't like it, we're still gonna do more.
Yeah.
So there it is.